Hey everybody, Jay Widener here, Reality Check. Um, Here reading from my book. I was going to announce that I had almost 40,000 subscribers on this channel. And then yesterday, over a course of about an hour to an hour and a half, I went from 39.9 thousand subscribers to 31.9 thousand subscribers. Lost 8,000 subscribers in about an hour, a little more than an hour. So you tell me, YouTube, where do they all go? All right. So today, again, we're reading from The Monument to the End of Time. This is chapter 9, section 4, The Naval of the World. I'm Jay Widener, and this is Reality Check. Hit like and subscribe and all that. Lima, Peru is one of the driest places on Earth. It sits on the west coast of South America at the north end of the Peru-Chile coastal desert. 10 to 20 years will sometimes pass without a single drop of rainfall. Although the ocean is just a stone's throw away, there is no moisture and very little life in this desert. Outside of the sprawling, poverty-ridden city, there is nothing but miles and miles of dried yellow sand, with not a weed, plant, or any other living thing in sight. When the Inca were asked by the Spanish where the best place to put a city was, they were told to come to where Lima stands today. The Inca considered Lima to be the worst place on earth to live. It was their way of saying up yours to the Spanish. Lima today is a huge colossus that stretches for mile upon dusty mile in all directions. Only the Pacific Ocean mercifully stops it from getting any further. But the coastline doesn't stop everything. The beaches are filled with mountains of trash washed out by the tidal flow every day into the blue waters of the world's biggest ocean. That may have ended. Last time I was there, I did not see that. They may have cleaned up their beaches. Lima is the only major city in Peru. Outside its borders lies a country that is wild, unpopulated, and forbidding. There are no shortages of mysteries in this land. There are lost cities, hidden tunnel systems, gigantic edifices, and remnants of ancient societies. Peru also has 4 ecological zones that stretch all the way from the hottest desert, should be the driest desert, to the wettest rainforest on Earth. Needless to say, there are a million places to get lost and remain hidden forever. The 1 hour flight from the sweltering hotbed of Lima to the cool mountains of Cusco is a welcome relief. Cusco is an Indian word for navel of the world, possibly even an analog for the center of the galaxy. If we think of the curving snake-like shape of the Andes Mountains as the Milky Way, then Cusco is indeed at the center. Everything here is as different from Lima as it can possibly get. The high Andes Mountains rise out of the earth to climb in places to over 20,000 feet in altitude. Their ragged cliffs, proof of their young age, attracts the clouds and moistures out of the Amazon jungle far below and to the east. These clouds bring the necessary rainfall to keep the high Andes fertile and verdant. In Cusco, as opposed to Lima, there is always a cool wind which flows through the green trees and fertile valleys. The people seem happier too. The local remnants of the Inca Empire still laugh and sing, although the words are now Spanish. The locals are a tribe of Indians called the Quechua. Their tribe was once the foundation of the great Inca Empire, though now they are reduced to the status of a conquered race. The Quechua are a proud and handsome people with high cheekbones and honest eyes. It is important to remember that the DNA study of the Basque people, this is wrong. I'm going to read it, but it's wrong. It is important to remember that the DNA study of the Basque people in southwest France came to the conclusion that the closest relatives on the entire planet were the Quechua of Peru. That's not true. It wasn't a DNA study. It was a language study. The Basque language is the closest to Quechua, and Quechua is the closest to the Basque language as they can get. I don't know how I made that mistake, but I did. I apologize. The Inca ruled their empire for less than 150 years before the Spanish conquistadors appeared. Around 1400 CE, a group of Quechua nobles from Cusco managed to unite the warring factions left from the dissolution of the ancient empire of the Wari Tuawanka, Wanku, which ruled the Andean highlands for 1,000 years. They accomplished this by returning to the way of Viracocha, producing a brilliant synthesis of Andean civilization going all the way back to the culture of Tiwanaku, the prehistoric Atlanteans. The physical remains of the Inca Empire, its roads and bridges, temples, towns, fortresses, and irrigation canals can be seen everywhere in Peru and Bolivia. The modern visitor is left with the impression that something very important happened in the Andean highlands long ago, and that nothing much has happened since. It's hard to account for the sudden brilliance. The empire was an idea whose time had come. Several centuries of constant warfare had prepared the highlands to accept a political solution, but it is the cultural effervescence that catches our attention. The way of Viracocha taught the civilization must be in the image of the origin of all things. The word Inca in Quechua means archetype or original pattern. The world was Inca, or correctly aligned with the original model when it was formed as a cross with a unifying center point. As with most American cultures, this was visualized as the essential order of space. The Inca called their empire Tiwanatinsuyu, the four quarters. For this reason, the center of that cross was Cusco, the navel of the world. Through Cusco, heaven nourished the earth in the person of the Inca, the archetypal man or the king. He was the center of the hub around which the crossed circle of time and space revolved. In Western terms, he is more like a pharaoh of Egypt, as son of the sun, and beyond to a composite of Adam, Christ, and the Grail King. All this becomes more intriguing when we think of the Andes as a natural suggestive pattern for the Milky Way, with Cusco on the galactic core. The cross of the four quarters then echoes the four projected trees of life on the celestial sphere. The Sapa Inca, the unique man in the form of the king, begins to look a lot like Adnan Kadmon, or cosmic man of the Kabbalists, formed from the intersection of these trees. The way of Viracocha could be the secret of astro-alchemy itself in a utopian form, lost to the West after Egypt's decline. And that's the end of that chapter. So, they have cleaned up their act in Lima. There's not quite as polluted as it used to be, which is good because it really was tons of garbage piled on the beach, and just the tide would come in and bring it out. Peru's an amazing place. It and Egypt are the two hotbed centers of all of this. And I think I'll have Brian Forrester on talk about some of this with you guys. All right, I'm Jay Widener. Thanks for watching, and hit like, subscribe, and tell your mama, and tell your papa, and tell everybody to watch. All right? Okay.